guys, welcome back. So today we've got the FINESSE M2 back in for some more upgrades, but it's power this time and a little bit of handling. But before we jump into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, also notification bell, and then you won't miss if our new videos go live. So we're mainly going to be upgrading the power. The reason why we're going to be doing that is obviously because the customer wants more, but also he wants us to look at the ECU software because he's saying that the throttle response and then the amount of power that's delivered isn't necessarily correlating with what he's requesting behind the pedal. So it's very hard to control the car when it's in a slide, and it's making the car feel a little bit erratic as well when he's trying to obviously drive it quickly. It's not ideal on track and also on the road as well. So we're going to be looking at the throttle maps quite a bit, obviously optimizing the fuel ignition boost and all the other maps inside the ECU. We're also going to be installing a Akrapovic downpipe on this, so that replaces the factory catted downpipe with a straight through downpipe, and that will release a bit more power, allow us to optimize the ECU software a little bit more. And then also this customer's having some problems with the valve control because it's always open at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to reinstate the standard valve controls, so 100% open in Sport, Sport Plus, and then 100% closed in efficient mode. So if he's at a track that has a really low noise limit, or he's having problems with noise, he can put it into efficient mode, still enjoy the car, and keep underneath those noise limits. And then at the same time, we're going to be looking at the corner weighting. So that's something we didn't manage to get around to doing last time because we sort of ran out of time, and then doing the wheel alignment as well. So next step is to get the car on the dyno, figure out what the standard baseline power is. It already has a stage 1 ECU software on it with a GPF delete from another company. So we're going to see what it's making and then get the car in the workshop, and then we're going to be installing the downpipes and then the stage 2 ECU software, get the car back on the dyno, see what kind of power it's making, optimize the ECU software, and then do the wheel alignment and the corner weight balancing. So we'll see you in a little bit inside the workshop. Okay, so you've just watched us dyno the M2 as standard, so it's making around 500 horsepower with obviously a GPF delete and CSF charge cooler on it and some other software. We've got the car on the ramp, so you would have seen we just removed the factory downpipes, which we've got here, and then we've got the Akrapovic downpipes we're going to be upgrading the car with today, and then obviously doing the ECU software to match that a little bit later on in the video. So the reason why we're installing some aftermarket downpipes over the factory downpipes is because the factory downpipes are a huge restriction just after the turbocharger. The reason why they're a huge restriction is because they've got cats in them. So cats will basically improve the emissions, but at the same time they block the exhaust flow quite considerably, and especially when you increase the boost pressure and you increase the power, you put in a lot more flow and energy through the exhaust system, so you get a lot more build-up of heat and also back pressure as well. So by removing these and replacing them with the Akrapovic ones, which don't have any cats inside them, they're fully straight through, nice smooth diameter the whole way throughout, you're going to be reducing back pressure and reducing EGTs, so then when we go to do the ECU software, we can then optimize the fuel ignition boost, all the other maps, even more so than we would be able to with the factory cats in place. And also, if you're using the car under sustained periods of high load, the factory cats tend to fail or can fail. So it's always good if you're using the car only on track, is basically to fit some of these downpipes to replace the factory cats. So going to get these fitted to the car, do the other bits that we need to do, like the corner weighting and the wheel alignment, and then get the car on the dyno and see what kind of power it makes. finished off doing the ECU tuning on the M2. As you can see, we've got the results behind us. So the blue lines are the torque, the red lines are the horsepower, and then the dotted lines as the car arrived to us, and then the solid lines as the car's leaving us today. Just to recap on what the car has. So the car arrived to us with another tuner's ECU software with a GPF delete on it, and also had the full CSF cooling package on there, and started off making around 501 horsepower and about 505 foot-pounds of torque on our dyno. The customer also reported that he had some kind of like throttle issues and things like that. Took it out for a road test, and the car was quite sort of like nervous to drive, so we paid special attention to that, as well as like optimizing the fuel injection boost, all other maps inside the ECU, and for the additions of the hardware, including the Akrapovic downpipes that we fitted, that obviously reduce the back pressure, improve the flow through the exhaust system, reduce the EGCs as well, so we can tune it a bit further. So now the car's making a new peak of 534 horsepower and 579 foot-pounds of torque. As you can see, there's gains all the way from the bottom of the rev range all the way to the top, but specifically in the mid-range as well. So the car's now making peak torque 600 RPM sooner, and then peak horsepower 1500 RPM sooner. And it's making an additional maximum gain of around 99 foot-pounds of torque, about 4,600 RPM, and then as much as 90 horsepower at 4,800 RPM. As you see behind us, sort of like the mid-range before was a little bit dead, with sort of like this flat line, whereas now the car sort of like drives or produces power like a turbo car, so it's now making over 500 horsepower from about 4,500 RPM all the way to the rev limit. So it's going to be a completely different car to drive. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to watch other videos of ours that YouTube thinks you'll like, then click up here. If you'd like to watch some other videos that we have in the same playlist, then click here. And obviously, if you enjoyed the video, then we really appreciate if you gave us a subscription. And then obviously you'll be updated when other videos of ours go live, and you can do that quite easily by clicking here. Hope to see you soon.